Commissioner Lloyd, Commissioner Winfrey,
Here.
Commissioner Ellenberg, Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Avery,
Here.
Commissioner Shoemaker,
Present.
Commissioner Kuzno,
Here.
Commissioner Wayhill,
Here.
Commissioner Davis.
At this time, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is the time set aside for public comment. Is there any public comment? At this time, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. Any public comment? Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll go on to communications.
Madam Chair, would we have to approve some minutes?
No,
There
no
isn't
minutes
any?
on them.
Okay.
Oh, it's on the agenda, okay.
There's no minutes.
Okay.
See that.
We have a presentation by the equalization report. And Michelle's here now.
Good morning. Thank you guys for holding this meeting so that we can amend our apportionment report that was approved on October 18th. There was election on November 7th, and the Grand Blanc Charter Township Police Services millage was approved to be levied for 2023. So I've received their amended 4029. I've amended the apportionment report to include that. And also there are several local units that we've received the special assessments for, so those have been added to the report as well. There was a Goodrich area schools sinking fund millage proposal that I had mentioned at our previous meeting, but that was defeated, so they will not be levying that in 2023. So did you have any questions?
Is there any questions?
Thank you very much.
Seeing none, we need a,
So,
do we need a
yeah,
motion?
Commissioners, you have in front of you the resolution. It wasn't on the agenda because it wasn't done yet, so just somebody needs to make a motion to approve the resolution that was included there in your packet. And
I'll move it.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion on it? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. At this time, we'll move on.
no other business.
No other business. We'll go on to the committee reports.
No other business. We can just adjourn the
Okay. All right. So this meeting's adjourned at
9:03
9:06.
or 3.
Whatever. Yeah. I know, it was fast.
Wait a couple minutes, it'll be 6 minutes.
All right, are we just staying in here for committees then?
We can.
Yeah, let's just stay here.
David gets to leave.
Ready?
Yep. Okay, I call the Finance Committee to order at 9:05. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Kuzno?
Here.
Commissioner Brown? Commissioner Avery?
Here.
Commissioner Wayhill?
Here.
Commissioner Ellenberg?
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the minutes of November 8th, 23.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Is there any comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? motion passes. We now take time for public comment to the committee. Is there any public comment to the committee? Any public comment? Last call. Any public comment? Public comment is now closed. There isn't any communications, old business, new business, Resolution 23652, approval of a purchase order to mailroom for the fiscal year ending 2024 in an amount not to exceed $217,410 to provide postage and mailing services for FYE 2024. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23833, approval of a request to decrease Genesee County Planning Commission's assigned fund balance for compensated absences by $7,089.71.
So moved.
Is there any comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 23852, acceptance of the fourth quarter investment report.
Support.
Is there any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23865, approval of proposed amendment to 2324.
Skip number 5.
I'm sorry, Resolution 23864, approval of request by Genesee County Circuit Court to fund 3 jury payment kiosks in the total of $86,400.
So moved with question.
Okay.
Support.
Yep, okay. Go ahead, Commissioner Ellenberg.
Yes, where would the kiosks be located, and have we had kiosks in the past?
Good morning.
Okay.
The kiosks are located in the jury management office. We had one until about a year ago when we added 2 more. This is not new money. This is money that permits the treasurer's office to have petty cash on hand for the cash delivery company, which is Loomis, which you will see later in your agenda, to bring that money over and put money in those kiosks. So jurors are paid on the spot as opposed to waiting for a check in 2 weeks and maybe they forget to cash it. And then you have a sheet issues that the Fiscal Services Office is required to address somewhere down the road. So it's a win-win. It's not new money. They're located in the jury management office with security cameras on them.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23865, approval of proposed amendment to the 23-24 appropriations resolution for various line items as described in the attached budget.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23866, approval of request to create, post, and fill 1 public health nurse coordinator position at Genesee County's Health Department.
So moved.
This request eliminates 1 health educator coordinator. The funding for this request is budgeted for and will be paid from account following. Is there any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23879, forwarding to receive and file a copy of the paid county bills for the weeks ending 10/8/23, 10/15/23, 10/22/23, 10/29/23, and 11/5/23 in the total amount of $57,164,208.40.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23891, approval of request to create, post, and fill 1 mitigation specialist position at Genesee County's Office of the Public Defender. This position is fully grant funded.
So moved.
Support.
Is there any comments or questions?
Can we just have someone come up and talk a little bit about this position?
Sure. Who do we ask? Okay, I
Our
see him.
public defenders coming
I
up.
see him coming.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, I didn't hear your question.
If you could just talk about the value of a mitigation specialist and what exactly they will,
Usually at sentencings or any other complications that may arise during the criminal process, our mitigation specialist is that person that goes in and talks to our defendants and/or other witnesses and/or victims to try and put together a valid sentencing memorandum for those defendants that are convicted of or allegedly convicted of crimes.
and how long is the grant for? Has this position been around for a while? Is it anticipated to remain?
We're adding to our group, you might say, and we've got a mitigation specialist that does that now. And because of our need to expand the office, this is why we're trying to look at the situation as it relates to another mitigation specialist, because we are expanding and we are begging Josh for space, you might say.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Is there any other questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay.
Mr.
now-
Chairman,
Yes, go ahead.
the Chief Judge, Judge Newblad, is here along with the Court Administrator and the Clerk Register. They've got an item on the next agenda, but to try to get him out of here and back to doing what he does best, they asked if they could maybe come up now to explain what they're doing so that they can get back to work over at the court.
Yes, please, step up.
Judge.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity for us to present our plan for the court to take over operational authority of the Legal Records Division. And I'm here to do that along with my partner in this mission, Clerk Register Dominic Clemens. I believe that those who are privileged to serve in government should always be asking themselves the question, is there a better way to do this? And if the answer to that question of why we do something a certain way is because that's the way we've always done it, then we need to make a change. Very excited about this project because it's an example of us doing exactly that, working together to innovate in order to improve service to the public. I'd like to offer a little perspective on what we're doing. First, it's important to understand that court records belong to the court. As such, courts generally have had their own clerks to keep and manage them. This is why district courts have their own clerk. And this is why probate courts have their own clerk. And it's also why the Court of Appeals has its own clerk. So why doesn't circuit courts have their own clerk? It's because of the historical nature of circuit courts, which goes back hundreds of years. The reason why it's called circuit court is because judges would have to travel to communities to decide the cases there. This was called riding the circuit. Judges who would ride on horseback couldn't be expected to keep their records with them on their journeys, so the records would be kept in the county, in the clerk's office. Now that judges preside in county courthouses, there's no reason why circuit courts can't do what every other court does, keep and maintain its own records. So why don't we? Up until now, the answer was what I mentioned earlier, because that's the way we've always done it. Well, it's time to do things a different way. This is especially imperative in our modern society. We're no longer living in the fusty old days of yore. There's much that we can do to boost our effectiveness and efficiency. This is an expectation of the Michigan Supreme Court, who has imposed standardized guidelines for which we're all held to account. Mandatory statewide change to e-filing is soon coming to Genesee County. Also, we're creating a legal resource center to help all court users navigate the court system. We envision this to be an opportunity to create synergy and seamlessness with the Legal Records Division in order to provide better user experiences for the public. The Legal Records Division performs an extremely important function. We must always remember that behind these files are real people living real lives whose freedom, rights, claims, and livelihoods are hanging in the balance. And so we're doing this because it serves the mission of providing justice. I'm grateful to serve in a county with a government that's committed to innovation and service of mission. I want to thank my partner in this endeavor, Clerk Register, Dominic Clemens. Dom, your dedication to public service is truly admirable, and it's my joy to work with you on this project. I appreciate you. I also want to thank all of Dom's employees for their buy-in and hard work. I want to recognize Barb Manier. This has been a very long road, and she's worked incredibly hard to make this a reality. And I know that she's going to be mad at me for saying this, but I'm going to do it anyways. Our county has the greatest court administrator in the state of Michigan in Barb Manier. There are others who contributed to this who I'd like to recognize as well. Dave Layton and Ashley Prue, who've worked on this as corporation counsel. Anita Golita from HR, who's worked cooperatively with the unions to deal with all those issues. Thanks to Crystal Simpson, the CFO. And finally, I want to thank you, the commission, for your support. You have been supportive of the courts for as long as I've been on the bench, and I truly, truly appreciate it. In sum, this is a big win for the county. It's one that we can all be proud of. This is what the people want. Government cooperating to improve service to the public through innovation and with no extra cost. Again, thank you for your consideration of our proposal. Clemens?
I would just add to that, I think this is a great opportunity to see progress in action. Something I've talked to many of you about putting progress and what is best for the county ahead of political expediency, ahead of elected officials holding on to fiefdoms and creating their own circle of power. This is not a new proposal at all. This is something that was worked on and introduced with my predecessor, who made a decision not to move forward with it, to secure additional funding for his department, to secure additional staff and additional power. And we all know how that turned out for him. In the long run, this gives us the opportunity to have a stronger partnership with the court. In doing so, our deputy clerks in the legal division of the county clerk's office will become court employees. They will report to the court administrator. They maintain all of their same benefits, their same pay, their same seniority. And I maintain my statutory duty as clerk of the circuit court, meaning that I will still be meeting regularly with our court administrator and chief judge. I'll be providing strategy and getting updates from them on the operations. There are still certain pieces of court documents that will bear my signature. This is not in any way giving up authority or duty, but creating a new partnership to have innovation and ease of service for our residents. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, we've taken this a little out of order, but is there any questions before they leave?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment. That anytime I hear the words, hear anyone utter the question, is there a better way to do this? It brings joy to my ears. And I couldn't agree with you more that Bob Manier is a phenomenal court administrator. We are lucky to have her in Genesee County. And I want to thank both of you for really going ahead with this and creating more effectiveness and efficiency for Genesee County. And did I hear you say at no cost?
That's what I said.
Bravo.
Thank you. I saved that for last, by the way.
All right, anybody else? All right, thank you, Judge and Clerk
Thank you.
Clemens. Yeah.
And this will be voted on in government ops next.
Yeah.
They just wanted you to be able to come up and speak, and if there's any questions, so you don't need to stay unless you want to see good government at work.
Okay, moving on to number 10.
I'm sorry to
Go ahead.
interrupt, but we have the memorandum of understanding that we kind of wanted to sign, make it kind of a big moment for us. If it, with your indulgence, would that be okay if we signed it?
Yeah, pending approval, sure.
Pending approval, well, it's just a
Yeah.
memorandum of understanding, that doesn't mean it's been.
Yep.
Josh is taking your picture, so smile.
Shake hands. There you go.
And like Josh said, we'll take that resolution up in public ops. Government ops, excuse me. Resolution 23892, approval of a request to create, post, and fill one lead paralegal position at Genesee County's Office of the Public Defender. This position is fully grant funded.
I'll move it.
Support.
Any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23895, approval of request to create, post, and fill 3 lead assistant public defender positions at Genesee County's Office of the Public Defender. All positions are fully grant funded.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23904, approval of a request to create, post, and fill 1 secretary position at Genesee County's Health Department. This is a grant-funded position.
So move.
Support.
Is there any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23908, approval of a modification number 3 of a contract between Genesee County and Flint Odyssey House in an amount not to exceed $69,000 to provide substance abuse treatment services to Genesee County Sobriety Court. The cost of this agreement will be paid from account following.
So moved.
Any support?
Support.
Any comments or questions?
Mr. Chair, I don't know if there's anybody here who can talk about sobriety court, but I'd like to know a bit of data about sobriety court. If you could remind us of that, please, and the performance, effectiveness. Is there anybody who can speak to that briefly?
District court's here, they can speak to it.
Johnson with District Court, and this is Dana Baumgart. She's the coordinator for Sobriety Court, and she would probably be able to give you more information on the statistics regarding the program.
Could you repeat the question, please?
I'm curious about data on sobriety court. Can you give us some numbers of, people you've served, people you've helped? I just want some data about the effectiveness of it.
Absolutely. For fiscal year '23, our program had an 88% success rate, which was an 8% increase from the previous year. Currently, we have approximately 80 participants in the program that we provide substance abuse treatment services to.
Okay, I'll get with you later on some other things. Thank you.
We can provide some stats by possibly email with some of the other statistics if you'd like.
Yeah, if you have is there a report about the sobriety court that you could provide to us?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'd love to see that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23910, approval of a contract amendment number 1 between Genesee County and LADS, a Genesee LLC, in an amount not to exceed $55,000 to provide drug and alcohol testing services for the Genesee County Sobriety Court. The cost of this agreement will be paid from the following account numbers.
I'll move it.
Support.
Is there any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23911, approval of modification number 1 of a contract between Genesee County and Nationwide Interlock LLC in an amount not to exceed $42,000 to provide alcohol monitoring services for Genesee County Sobriety Court, and the cost of this agreement will be paid from the following accounts.
So move. Support.
Is there any questions or comments? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Resolution 23912, approval of proposed amendment to the 23-24 appropriations resolution to adjust Genesee County's district court budget to allow for rollover of unspent grant funds in the sobriety court budget.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions or comments?
Yes,
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner?
How much was unspent that we're rolling over?
Approximately 82,000 that was not spent in Bureau of Justice Assistant grant funds. And the reason for that was there was a position that was created for a probation officer and a recovery coach position that wasn't filled until about 6 months into the fiscal year last year. So instead of giving those funds back, BJA allowed us to roll those over and use those grant funds.
Okay, so the funds that, that were unspent, would they be able to go toward the ones that we just approved, or are those separate grants?
Nope, they will be able to go towards what was just approved, yes.
So they'll be able to go toward those? Okay. Okay, because I know it's a great program. If anybody's, ever gets the chance to go in and watch one of the courts, it's really interesting to see, how it's performed and what they do to the individual and how they help them. And so if you get a chance to go in and see, try to do that. And maybe you can send us the dates of when they do a graduation. I know that that's something that everybody should go and see so that they know how effective and how helpful this program is. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23913, approval of request to create, post, and fill on, I guess it's one, Housing Rehabilitation Specialist 2 at Genesee County's Planning Commission. This position is grant funded.
So moved.
Support.
Is there any questions or comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Resolution 23921, approval of proposed amendment to the 23-24 appropriations resolution for various line items as described in the attached budget adjustment form.
So moved.
Support.
Any comments or questions? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. There isn't any other business. We are adjourned at 9:28.
You just stick where you're at, or you coming up here? It's up to you.
Foul suit, man.
Yeah, I'm leaving, so somebody's got to sit here.
Start our Government Ops Committee meeting. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Avery?
Here.
Let me see who's on this committee. Commissioner Shoemaker is absent. Commissioner Davis?
Here.
Commissioner Kuzma?
Here.
Commissioner Ellenberg? Here. And we got a quorum.
Okay. Next, I'd like to have approval of minutes from November 8th.
Move it.
Okay. Any questions or concerns? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes for the minutes approval. Next, we have a portion where we have our public comment to this committee. So we offer public comment once, twice, public comments 3 times is now closed. Next, there are no communications and no old business. So we'll move on to our new business, Resolution 777, approval of a request by Genesee County's Office of the Clerk Register to travel to the Joint Elections Officials Liaison Conference in Washington, D.C. Dates of the travel are from January 10 through 13, 2024. Total cost of 2 attendees is $2,941.02 and will be paid from the following account.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions or concerns? Okay, so all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 807, approval of a grant award from the State Court Administrative Office in the amount of $148,000 to provide for the operation of Genesee County Circuit Court Specialty Courts. A copy of the budget is attached.
So moved.
Mr. Chair, I'll support it, but Mr. Chair, can we move 2, 3, and 7? It's about all the same thing at the same time.
You want 2, 3, and 7? Okay. Okay, yes, I will. Any motion for that?
You want to
Support.
change your, okay,
Okay.
yeah.
So we'll attach this with Resolution 807, 809, and 855 for approval. So, yeah, any questions or discussion?
Moved.
Okay. Okay, support?
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Okay.
been moved and supported.
Okay, so and no questions? So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion's pass. Next, we move on to the resolution 824, approval of the purchase order to Printing Systems, Inc. for the fiscal year ending 2023 in an amount not to exceed $22,889.50 to provide for the printing of ballots. The cost of the purchase order will be paid from the following account.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions or concerns? All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 825, approval of the purchase order to the Printing Systems, Inc. for fiscal year ending, did I just do that one? I did, okay.
Different year.
Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, so not to exceed $338,000 to provide for the printing of ballots. The cost of the purchase order will be paid from the following account.
Move it.
Support.
Okay. Any questions or
I have a
concerns?
question.
Yes. Chairman. Sure.
Okay, with the amount there, is there going to be any change? Because next year, will we be doing the 9-day early ballot?
Correct, yeah. So the first resolution you voted on were for ballots for this November election that just passed, being charged this last fiscal year. Previously, we were coming to you every single election. This proposal that we're on now is for the totality of ballots for the 2024 election cycle. So this will include the February presidential primary, the August state primary, and the November general election. In the off chance that there's an additional election in May, there might be coming back to you asking for funds for those ballots. With the 9 days of early voting, it will not have a requirement for additional ballots per se. As far as our order goes, we'll still have ballots for everyone. But part of the cost savings on that and why this number is actually a little bit lower than what we've seen in previous years is just that because of early voting. If you all recall, at the end of last fiscal year, I came to you all with a proposal to use funds to buy equipment, and part of that equipment was a ballot on-demand system. And what that did, we ordered some, and we're encouraging our municipalities to also order additional ones. So for those 9 days of early voting, when we have one voting site for an entire municipality, take the city of Flint, for example, they currently have 60 precincts. They have one early voting site, so that one early voting site will have ballots for all 60 precincts. Rather than ordering a surplus of those ballots, these ballot on-demand printers will be able to print certified ballots directly on site, lowering our direct printing costs and making it that cheaper, but still the same security and same standards with this equipment, but being able to be used from state funding as well as local funding rather than county funds.
Are the machines, are the printers that are printing these ballots, are they secure? Is there any way that somebody could come in and see it so that?
So they are just secure as your election tabulator device. It is the same programmer, it's the same type of device. So what this device is, if you go into an early voting site, the municipalities that are choosing to use this ballot on demand, you will go in your usual line, you'll see where the laptop is, where we pull and verify your voter registration. That is going to confirm the the precinct that you live in. And that is generally going to generate a barcode. Some municipalities are manually entering in. Then they go to this machine. It looks just like a voting machine, and that they will put in the information. And why I say all of that is because that machine is programmed to this election with what is called a Verity key and a V drive. Those are two pieces of equipment, small pieces of equipment similar to a flash drive that are only programmed by our county clerk's office and are only compatible with our election equipment. If someone was to take a V drive from another county and put it in, they would not be able to print anything related to our elections. None of our ballots would be able to come off. If they took our drive and sent it to another county, that's not programmed to work with that. So it's programmed in a closed environment, not connected to the internet in any way, just like your tabulator device. That machine, the only thing that is connected to is a printer. And we currently use a Oki printer, which is a brand printer that is compatible with this voting equipment and with the ballot on demand printers.
If I may continue, is there any way you could ever do a demonstration
Absolutely.
of that, coming in where people could come in and see this? Because this is something new. And, there's already people, thinking this early voting could be a problem, which I think it's going to be a blessing, especially for the clerk's office.
Yeah,
To be able to get more people to vote. But if you could come in and do a demonstration, I think that would be helpful.
Absolutely.
Maybe at one of our evening meetings where we could get, maybe some of the people that would come in and be interested in seeing the process.
Certainly. And we do, I would be more than happy to in the spring do a specific presentation just on early voting and the process that we'll be using in our municipalities. But I would also note that every election, with early voting or not, we do have public accuracy testing in every municipality that holds an election. And any resident of that municipality or anywhere, quite frankly, can go to their municipality on public accuracy testing day and not only see a demo of what the equipment looks like, but can see them do the testing, putting actual ballots in, and showing the markings and how the ballot reads each of the machines.
I'll get with you, and maybe we can set something up.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or concerns? Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Aye, motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 849, approval of request to establish, create, post, and fill one full-time specialty court services director at Genesee County Circuit Court.
Move it.
Support.
Oh, I can't.
Any questions or concerns? All right. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 858, approval of request to create, post, fill one operations and public engagement manager at Genesee County Circuit Court.
Move it.
We have
Support.
Okay. Any questions or concerns? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 869, approval of an agreement between Genesee County and Tyler Technologies, Inc., in the amount not to exceed $62,653 to provide for jury management software in Genesee County Circuit Court. The cost of this agreement will be paid from the following account.
Move it with a question.
Support.
Okay.
Mr. Clerk?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Good morning. I'll
Wrong
give it a try, but I have resources if it goes too deep.
Okay, Tyler, this is a new program?
No, it's an existing software that we've had since 2018. In 2017, Genesee County partnered with Oakland Circuit to put out for proposals jury software that was more dynamic than we had in the past. And this contract that we're now seeking to renew is the same company that we currently have. We're just trying to renew that contract.
Okay, well, that's what I thought. I just didn't see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because I remember doing this a few years ago.
I'm sure you
Yeah.
did. I
Okay.
appreciate it, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. For approval, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 870, approval of a memorandum of understanding between the clerk, register, and chief judge of Circuit Court.
I so moved.
Support.
Okay. Any questions? All right. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 889, approval of a contract extension between Genesee County and Legal Services of Eastern Michigan in the amount of $150,000 to provide pre-petition and post-adjudication ancillary legal services for families involved in child welfare cases. The cost of this agreement is budgeted and will be paid from the following account.
Move it.
Support.
Support.
Any questions, concerns? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 896, approval of a proposed dog field trip policy at Genesee County's Animal Control.
Move it with a question.
Support.
Okay,
This- What is this?
Commissioner, yes. Okay, we have
This entail?
Mr. Parker coming up.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning. Commissioners, you want to address your question?
Yeah, could you just, what is the dog field trip dog policy?
This is a policy that allows us to take certain dogs that we pick out, that are allowed volunteers to take out and actually go out on field
Out
trips.
of the facility?
Out of
and
the
off
facility.
grounds?
Yes, correct.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yes, and in the studies that we've done with the mental health of the animals, we've also picked up on their blood tests that the creatine levels are increased from the stress that they feel in the shelters. So this is a sort of a life-saving thing for these animals to get out. Certain animals are allowed. If animals have other tendencies that are aggressive, they would not be taken out. Those animals are CT and are not allowed out.
And this was vetted by our risk management?
This was done by, yes, by corporate counsel and risk management, looked at this, and we all got together and got this taken care of.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Parker. Any other questions? Okay. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 898, approval of an agreement between Genesee County and Loomis Armored US in the amount not to exceed $62,653 to provide secure cash deliveries to the courthouse to replenish cash dispensing kiosks that are used for jury payments.
Move it.
Support.
Any questions, concerns? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have item 918, approval of an agreement between Genesee County and Great Lakes Civil Services to provide for service to parties in family court. The cost of this agreement is 100% reimbursable.
Move it.
Support.
Okay, any questions or concerns? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 920, approval of the 2024 Board of County Commissioners meeting schedule.
Move it.
Support.
Okay. Any questions or concerns? Okay. Do we need any further on that for our schedule? Everyone's okay? Okay. Okay.
Want to move them all to
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 922, approval of the contract between Genesee County and Great Lakes Civil Service to provide services to process to individuals involved in paternity and child support cases. The cost of the contract is fully reimbursed by grant funding.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions or concerns? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. I think there's no other business, and this meeting will now be adjourned. 9:44.
All right, we're going to call the Human Services Committee to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Winfrey?
Here.
Commissioner Lloyd? Commissioner Davis?
Here.
Commissioner Shoemaker? Commissioner Ellenberg?
Here.
All right, this time we entertain approval of the minutes, previous meeting.
So moved.
Support.
Properly moved and supported. Any discussion, any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Are there any public comments to this committee? Any public comments to this committee? Any public comments to this committee? Public comments are now closed. There are no communications, no old business, new business. Resolution 859, approval of a grant award from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services in the amount of $328,040 to provide for implementation of the infant mortality reduction program at Genesee County's Health Department.
So moved.
Support.
Properly moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Resolution 861, approval of modification number 3 of an agreement between Genesee County and Oakland Livingston Human Service Agency in an amount not to exceed $494,694 to provide for a continuation of salaries and fringe benefits for the Great Start Readiness Program. The term of this agreement is October 1, 23 through September 30th, 24. The budget for this modification is attached. What's your pleasure?
So moved.
Support.
Properly moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Resolution 883, approval of a grant award from the Michigan Department of Environmental, Great Lakes, and Energy in the amount of $318,306 to provide for monitoring and non-community water supply, wells, pools, and campgrounds.
So moved.
Properly moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Resolution 901, approval of an agreement between Genesee County and Region 10 prepaid Sinar Youth Tobacco Services in an amount not to exceed $33,115. Wait a minute. Okay, 67 cents to provide tobacco compliance services. The cost for this agreement will be paid from the following account.
So moved.
Support.
Properly moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries. Resolution 905, approval of a grant award from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services in the amount of $176,184 to provide various activities within the Health Department.
So moved.
Support.
Properly moved and supported. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, on item number 6, can we drop that from the committee and I'll bring it back in January? I just need to verify a couple of things within the
Most certainly, item number 6 is dropped. If there's no other business before this committee, we stand adjourned.